The one-off test match between India and Bangladesh that will be played in Hyderabad from 9 February. Hello everyone, it's me Shruti ready with my prediction for this game, and Suneer is ready with his reading of this test match too. Hey Suneer, hope the tremors didn't scare you too much last night.
Hi Shruti. No, the tremors did not scare me, but my bed was definitely shaking and I was running like I should have as a cricketer when I was playing cricket back as a kid.
Well, let's just get on to the cricket then. Going into this one-off test, India and Virat Kohli must be on some sort of a high with those test series wins against New Zealand and England. And then the ODI and the T20I victories against England again.
And the Test series wins against West Indies, South Africa, and Sri Lanka as well since Kohli took over the captaincy. And admittedly, I thought that England would swoop down upon at least one of those ODI or T20 series when they were in India. But right now, as you said, India are on a roll and the juggernaut looks like it will be difficult to stop even for Bangladesh, given the obvious differences in their Test match rankings.
Wonder how many thought India would win the test series against England by a 4-0 margin after their first drawn test. But moving on to this series against Bangladesh, what do you make of the Indian squad?
Yeah, it's an interesting one that after that first test match against England, which England should have probably tried to win, a 4-0 result in India's favor was a surprise. But nothing succeeds like success. And as I mentioned earlier, those results in the lead up to this Bangladesh test match could point to a stable selection, could point to stable selection policies despite the odd surprise here and there. Here again, Parthiv Patel could have been retained as a backup opener since once Wriddhiman Saha was back, he was never going to keep wickets for India. And especially after Saha scored the double century in the Irani Trophy. Instead, the selectors have opted to drop him and bring in Abhinav Mukund as the backup opener. Again, Mukund has had a good Ranji Trophy season with the bat and against tough opponents too during the season. So his selection is well deserved as well. But the real talking point for me is the number 5 spot in the Indian team.
And I actually remember you having conducted a poll on Twitter to understand what people thought of that number 5 slot too.
Yes, I did. It was to understand what cricket fans thought who should make it to the playing 11, Ajinkya Rahane or Karun Nair. Now, we all know that Rahane is the vice captain of the Indian team, but he got injured and Nair replaced him in the side and hammered that triple century in the Chennai Test match. So, what do you do now? Drop a batsman coming off a 300 or drop your tried and tested deputy skipper if he's fit? Interestingly on that poll, the option to get most votes was to play them both in the playing 11, which might have been possible had it been MS Dhoni who was captaining the side, who was usually happy to field 4 frontline bowlers. But Kohli has almost got rid of the tactic unless the pitch looks to be a brute for the batsman. And I'm still expecting R. Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja, Saha, and one of Jayant Yadav or Hardik Pandya to make it to the 6, 7, 8, and 9 slot along with the 2 fast bowlers, which leaves just one spot for Rahane and Nair to fight for, Shruti.
Gosh, that seems really, really tough. And I'm glad I'm not the one making the call. But who would you play?
Very, very tough call, Shruti. And understandably, even Kohli will need to make one such tough call. And I think Kohli and the team management have been making a few good tough calls. But I would go with Rahane. Creates a sense of stability among the players that they wouldn't lose their spot in the team if they got injured. Somewhat like the case with Saha versus Parthiv Patel situation. There was a temptation to play Parthiv Patel, but Saha has come back. Now, obviously, Saha's wicket keeping is much better than Parthiv Patel, but yes, it does create a sense of stability.
Great. So we've spoken about India there. Now let's move on to Bangladesh. What do you make of Bangladesh, the test side, as opposed to their ODI and their T20I teams?
Well, there has been a marked improvement in Bangladesh's white ball cricket since the 2015 World Cup in which they made the quarterfinals. But they have endured obvious struggles with the red ball, and the 2-0 defeat at the hands of New Zealand recently was an indicator. That said, we all know that Asian teams do find it difficult to tour New Zealand and win test matches there. But there are signs that if you give them the right conditions, they won't fall easy prey to the opponents. And watching them draw their two-match test series against England in their own backyard gives me a strong sense that they might prove a better fight than England, what England did when they were in India. That's not saying a lot given that England were woeful during the test matches. But here's a catch. India might not provide Bangladesh with as spin-friendly a pitch as those back in Mirpur and Chittagong during that England series where the ball turned from ball one. And as was the case during the England series, might see a batting-friendly pitch in Hyderabad. Then, in that case, will the spinners be able to hold their own? That is a question, Shruti.
Which is what seemed to have happened during the warm-up game against India A as well. Bowled out for 224 and then allowed India A to rattle away 461 for 8.
Well, exactly my point. This seemed like a continuation from the England series where the lower order would come up and batter the English bowlers away. And something similar happened after those two centuries from Priyank Panchal and Shreyas Iyer at the top of the order. And there was a bit of a collapse. Priyank Panchal and Shreyas Iyer both retired themselves out. But then India A did lose a few wickets before the lower order bailed them out with another century by Vijay Shankar. I know it's a warm-up game where visiting teams are trying out different things and combinations, but three batsmen smashed century for that India A team, and neither of them was even dismissed. Even when the Bangladesh top order struggled against the inexperienced Aniket Chowdhary, who backed 4 wickets for India A. What makes it worse for Bangladesh is that they have lost Imrul Kais to an injury, which means that Soumya Sarkar will have to open the innings. And Mehdi Hassan, who bagged 19 wickets in the two test matches against England in Bangladesh, which was also his maiden test series, making it even more special, was clattered for 92 runs from his 16 overs in that warm-up game. See, again, I'll repeat, the results of warm-up games must be taken with a pinch of salt. But we all know what happened when Shane Warne was clattered for a lot of runs in Australia's warm-up game against Mumbai before the 98 Test series against India. Mentally, he was shattered and was clinically dissected by the Indians in the Test matches that followed.
That's an interesting analogy there. And so much like that 1998 series. Do you expect India to start favourites?
Oh, yes, I do. But Bangladesh might give a better fight than England did, as I said earlier. We must also remember that this is Bangladesh's first time in India playing a test match. And even Sri Lanka found it really tough to win test matches in India. They're yet to win a test match in the country, in fact, having played 17, lost 10 and drawn 7. India to make it their 8th test win of the season for me. Shruti, I'll be surprised if you don't go with India as well. But let me ask you, why is India favourite for you in this test match?
Yes, Suneer, no surprises for me on that one. It is Taro advantage India because India have better balance and have a very strong first innings with the bat and ball. In fact, it's very possible that India could win this by an innings or by a large margin because Bangladesh may have such a terrible start that it may be tough for them to recover.
So it's actually we are on the same side as to who the favourites are, but I think it will be a tough match. Might go into the fifth day and might go the distance in that sense. You say that it could well be a one-sided match where Bangladesh might lose by an innings.
Yes.
But that is it from us. We are done with the preview for this one-off test match. We will be back with a few Pakistan Super League game previews. But till then, have a good day. And lest you forget, please subscribe to this channel by clicking on that red button. And you can also follow us on Twitter at World Cricket Chat. For now, bye-bye.